Well, I'll say it. I'll just say it. I didn't hear any audio.
I think the people at home did.
Well, I'll
I'm
just
going
say
to
it.
assume they did.
I see
It might
Kevin's
be
mouth
broken
moving, but I
headphone stuff
can't hear
too.
it. No, I'm kidding. I can hear Kevin.
Oh, okay.
God damn it. God damn it, you guys. I don't know the podcast. This is the second false start in a row, Kevin. Let's see. Let's see how many we can do without doing one well. Kevin, I'm in a rare mood. I'm in a common mood, Kevin. It's resentful. That's the mood I'm in. Call me
Okay.
Resenta Claus. Is that something?
Resentful clause. Okay. What's
Resent
what's
Nick.
what's making you
Resent Nick.
resentful?
I don't know, man. Shut up. Get out of here. I fucking I just
Okay.
I don't know, man. I I don't have like a good idea of how to do the podcast better. And I don't think it would be better if we recorded on a different day. But I definitely do feel like Sunday just feels like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like we're gonna get we never feel like we're gonna get good stuff on Sunday. But also we just when did we record? We recorded Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was a Tuesday night.
So
And like we
maybe
both
that's just
felt like
why.
that was a really great
It
episode, and
was
I still
so
don't know
good.
why.
Well, it was been so long. We hadn't seen each other in months. It's been years. But
It felt that way.
I fucking I'm not just wearing a stylish new cat, Kevin. And I'm not talking about my Santa hat. And I am talking about I don't I fucking I didn't want to do the show today, but I just told a bunch of people on Reddit I'm going to do the show. We're going to do the show. Fucking pieces of shit. These fucking dumb fucks. Then we do the show, no one comments on it. It's like people will write 300 comments being like, "Why isn't there a show?" Then the show comes out, no comments on the show. And then someone will write a post, they'll be like, "Did anyone see that show that just happened? I have some thoughts." It's like, use the fucking discussion. There's a whole thread for that no one uses. Okay, this is all an illustration of my mental state, just to let you guys know.
Yeah. Well,
My
it doesn't help
headphones
that I think
broke.
our
Go ahead.
discussions are like split up because well, most of it goes on Reddit, but then we have people like commenting in the Spotify comments, which is great too.
Oh,
And then
we
we have
love that,
we have the occasional person that comments on like the Apple Podcasts app as well. And those are the
and we
ones that
love
are
that
always
too.
well, no, those are the ones that are always baffling because it's like people will be like, I love this show, I love Spencer, this is great, and then give us 1 star. And I don't understand how that keeps happening on Apple and nowhere else.
Well, I made my enemies. I'm sure I deserve it. But I got an ear cup on my goddamn head, Kevin.
You do.
My
You do.
headphones, they broke right before the show. I didn't want to do the show. Maybe my headphones would be fine today and forever. Maybe they would never break if we didn't do the show today. You know, maybe it was just today that did it.
It could be. It could be. I was actually tempted to see if I could like DoorDash you a new set of headphones while the show was still going,
Yeah,
but I don't know if I could get there that fast or not.
you probably could. They wouldn't be to my exacting specifications.
I think anything would be better than what you have right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you in the one cup. The thing is, this thing has controls on it. You might be able to see kind of, if you're on the video, these buttons and stuff. So if I want to adjust the volume on my headphones, I have to turn this dial. See,
Yeah.
now you're muted. I can't hear you right now, which is good because you're
I
talking so loudly. Is
I could be
really
saying anything and
yeah.
you would have no idea what I'm talking about.
I turned you back up,
Okay.
but I don't know. I I feel like, when we last recorded, I was in a pretty good mood. I feel like it carried on Wednesday, Thursday, most of Friday, I think. I was starting to flag on Friday. Yesterday I was feeling like a good deal worse, and today I'm doing not good. I think it's not that bad. It's just a bummer. I don't know. I was kind of doing like, I don't know, what hopefully is healthy self-reflection and being like, it's tough. Being in a relationship is tough. I don't know that I could have forestalled anything, or if it was that I really fucked up all that bad, or if it was just a thing. Like, we were dating, but it was long distance, but it was long distance for like a year, and I don't
That's
know. I
hard.
think we were starting to lose like a bit of a spark, but I think in a normal relationship that happens too, but I think when you're in person, there's a lot more left when that spark starts to die. But a lot of people, when they start to feel that go away, I think they break up anyway, even though I do think that is like a normal part of relationships. So I don't know. Like now I'm kind of like back in this like analyzing phase, being like, oh, is it just like something like that could have been, more? But it's all questioning. It's all, I don't know. I feel like I maybe mentioned this before, but thoughts are just thoughts, like they're all made up. They're fake. They're made up by some like idiot.
Thoughts are fake.
And you just think them and you're like, "Oh my God. Holy shit." It's like if like every time you have a thought, it's like Charlie Day with the red string board and he's like trying to explain it to you. And it's like, yeah, it might be true or not, but it's really a thought is just like some guy being like, look at holy shit. And it's like, I mean, I guess, but also no, and also shut up. Go away. Like any thought could
Yes.
just like, it's all like made up, I don't know. It's just this weird, which is like probably the stupidest and least eloquent way to explain like Buddhism on some level, you know? It's like it's all this stuff is just like nonsense. But I've been trying to catch myself in thinking like that, and I'm starting to like have spiral and be like, no, just stop. These are just thoughts. It's all stupid. It's all made up. None of this matters. It's all fake. It's just like I'm trying to bend myself out of shape. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But so today it's kind of not good, but it's also, you know, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. What's up
It
with
will.
what's up with you, Kevin?
We're in Boston right now.
Hmm.
We went to Salem yesterday. That was a lot of fun. We learned about witches and all kinds of things.
Yeah, there's a Salem in Washington, and just growing up on the West Coast and being kind of like West Coast centric or whatever, I just always assumed that it was that Salem that had the witch trials, but nope, no
Yeah,
dice.
no, it's a Massachusetts one.
Those
Yeah.
guys were really nice to witches over there, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I think that Washington was much more chill about that sort of thing.
Yeah, they even had the Washington Wizards, the
Yeah,
basketball team, for a while,
yeah. The
or they
Wizards and the
still do, I
Witches are
guess.
both okay in Washington. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the women's team was the witches.
yeah,
They were the OG.
yeah. But I guess like one of my incredibly distant, far back relatives, I think her name was like Phoebe Day or something, was one of the people that was accused of being a witch during all of that.
Wow.
So I don't know how we're somehow related, but we traced it back at some point and figured it out.
Maybe I should do something like that. I've always been afraid to like add my data to the pile, the DNA to the dragnet, but maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to give over to the mega corporations. Okay, so this is stupid, Kevin. This is stupid. I have a stupid joke. I have a stupid joke,
Okay,
Kevin.
please, here, let me hear it.
Why am I doing this? Okay, Kevin, here's my impression. Here's my
Okay,
impression of a homeless person who's getting a ride. You
okay.
could just draw me up anywhere, it's fine.
That's I feel bad for laughing at that even.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I mean, it just to me it just came up with just a very simple thought. If you think about it too much, it's definitely not nice. But
Yeah.
it's funny because you're like, oh, okay, a homeless person getting a ride, and it's like, right, yeah, where are they going?
Yeah.
Um, and then you're done, and then it's like sad. Okay, okay. So there's a VTuber. Twitch streamers are so popular, Kevin. There's a VTuber named Fillion who she is a VR VTuber. Maybe it's called VR tuber. Is that a thing? And
Yes.
she has like an avatar that has body tracking so she can like walk around on screen, which is really cool. It's like a really cool visual effect depending on what she's doing. Because she kind of has like this green screen kind of stage, but it's just a green screen over like her computer stream. And so if she pulls up like a video, she can be like walking in front of the video and pointing to things while it's playing, which and she's pretty practiced at it. That's so it's like it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty interesting. And she does all sorts of stuff. She does like VR games and normal games and stuff. And I was watching, she was doing this like 3 day, it was like a weekend long marathon where we talked about this before ages ago, but there's this AI VTuber called Neurosama, who is like a chat GPT that's like rigged up to like VTuber stuff so it can like kind of move around while it talks a little bit. And I don't know exactly how they do it, but they often make it or they sometimes make it play video games or something. I think they like get it to talk to people and stuff because it has some sort of voice input and whatever. But it has a personality. Its personality is kind of like a rando troll who like is like messing with people a little bit and like playing stupid, which is weird because it's an AI that like fails at stuff, but it's also like intentionally playing dumb, which is like a kind of hard layer to try and like pull apart, figure out what's going on. But anyway, so Fillion was streaming with someone named Crelly, and then Neuro is like was built by someone named Beetle, I guess. And so Beetle was streaming and then also was running Neuro. And then it was Fillion and Crele, and they were doing a weekend long Minecraft challenge where they had to beat Minecraft on hardcore mode, and if any of them died, it reset the world and reset the run, and they had to start over. And they had Neuro rigged up to the Minecraft, so she actually had like a character in Minecraft somehow. And so my vague, like I didn't haven't done a lot of research into this, but my vague understanding is that there's like a speed run machine learning algorithm for Minecraft that can like do a series of tasks, which is like it's trying to get like enough iron to get like a pickaxe, then it's trying to get like enough obsidian to make a portal, and it's just doing a series of tasks that technically if it does them successfully it'll beat the game of Minecraft, which can technically be beaten if you're unaware. There's multiple dimensions and you have to go to the nether dimension to get these items, and then you have to find a portal to the end dimension, and once you go to the end dimension you fight a boss and then you beat the game. And so like the algorithm can do this stuff somehow, and they folded the Neuro Chat GPT streamer algorithm into it. So like it can somehow interpret verbal commands and do them in Minecraft with this bot. But like it's not like a really well done thing because the bot has strong like machine learning programming to complete the game, which is at odds with like being doing like a task you're being asked to. So it's like constantly trying to do like elite gamer strats and run off, and it immediately gets killed. And then it starts the run. So like they're playing with it, and like a big part of the job is they're having to babysit it and keep telling it to do stuff so it doesn't run off and get killed while like they're actually completing the game. And it's talking and it's streaming. It has its own like streamer channel where it can talk. And it's weird because then the streamers are in like a Discord and they're talking to each other, but all that text is getting interpreted by Neuro, and it's throwing off her programming. And it was this big clusterfuck. It was just really fascinating to watch over the course of days where they're getting more and more frustrating and having different ideas on how to like deal with it. I don't know, but a robot that plays Minecraft and you get they were telling it to mine iron and it would like mine one iron and then go back to trying to win the game. It was crazy. Why did I just talk all that? This podcast sucks. So what Kevin? What
Nothing.
Kevin?
I'm just very amused. I hope our listeners are amused by this as I am.
I sure fucking so hope so. Fuck you fucking listeners. Ugh. I don't know what we're
I
gonna do
never
with
got
it.
into Minecraft, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I just could never get into the game.
It's hard. It's
And
opaque.
I feel like I should like that game. I feel like, objectively, like that should be the kind of game I would play. It should be one that I would enjoy, but for some reason, I just never, I never got far enough, I think, for that dopamine hit to want to keep playing it.
Yeah, I mean it's a really opaque game. I don't know. I think it's very different playing multiplayer as well. So I mean, I think it can be tough to kind of get into. Also, it's all worthless. Oh boy, I mean, I guess this will be resolved by the time we put it out, but they say in the chat that they didn't hear the the song. So there you go. The intro
Okay.
song. Oh
Well, I,
boy,
I will make sure that's in the final version.
I know. And even if it's not, it's fine. But all of this to say is Neurosama is interesting. That guy, I think we talked about her ages ago, back when we were talking about like interesting things. And then also they went to sleep, but they stayed streaming overnight while they were streaming, and they had something that was basically like reminiscent of like the Seinfeld show Twitch that we saw. That was like the
Yeah.
AI doing Seinfeld, except it was just their characters, and they were mostly talking about Minecraft and stuff, but they were kind of doing this like four-person kind of like Seinfeld show bit that would reset constantly. And that was interesting too. I don't know. But uh it would be cool to play Minecraft with robots for sure. That's like a fun thing, at what cost, I guess. But I what's crazy, Kevin, is I don't know why I told that story, but all of this to say it would be cool if we get interview VTubers on the show.
Okay. We can make that happen, I think.
Yeah, but we're such a small show. Like Fillion gets like 15,000 views regularly, that's like, I don't know. But I guess we get it's kind of different. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
It's less live interaction, but we get your numbers over the week.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like it's kind of like it's kind of like a lot of viewers watching a stream. It's just different. I mean, I don't know. But it could be cool. Yeah, VTubers are. I actually really like VTubers. They're like depending on where you go, they can range from very small home operations to like this Hollow Live giant, like K-pop celebrity idol kind of sort of thing. But it's it's fun. I don't know. It's like a fun idea that there being like these kind of like more because the thing is, Twitch streamers already are like so heightened that they're essentially cartoon characters. So just being like, I don't know, Philly is like an anime girl. She doesn't have like a really strong like character bit, but Krelly, she was like a zombie cow. Like her avatar looked like it was like a girl, but it like had zombie cow elements. And it's like, yeah, why even bother being? You could just be like, I'm the, like I'm the chinchilla, the Super Saiyan chinchilla that plays the video games. I'm the burnt peanut, or whatever. Like it seems like it can be an opportunity to have more fun. And you can still be really real with the chat too. I think people like the hearing about the people's like life in a semi-authentic way, even if they are really fake or, artificial. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it, Kevin. I just want to do a good job. I'm so bummed. I'm so sad and I want to be happy. I think I can see myself moving past it. It's just it'll suck, which is different than being in like oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like that's like a different mode. Now it's just kind of like I'm mad. It's like, God damn it, now I have to like walk to the gas station or something, It's like, God damn it. Uh the Sizzler. The Sizzler's not doing so good. They've cut. I think I just listened to a Doughboys episode where they cut. They're like down to like 80 restaurants now or something. They used to have like over 200. But I think, you hear the expression all sizzle, no steak.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's like the problem. It's like you're marketing sizzle. That's nothing. That's like
I,
by nature, it's nothing.
I misheard the first time you said that, and I thought you said the Sizzler's not doing so well right now, and I thought you were talking about yourself in the third person.
The Sixler's not doing so well either, but the Sixler might be doing a little better than the Sizzler. Or, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
I'd love to have the problems the Sizzler had because I'd be like, well, I'll just shut it all down and take the money, you know?
Yeah. I think
Um,
you'd be quite happy if you had 80 restaurants to your name.
yeah, they'd be great. But here's the thing: if I did, I could solve all the problems with Sizzler because, like I said, they're focusing on the sizzle and not the steak. They're focusing on the sizzle and not the steak, which is why I propose a rebrand, Kevin. We got to rebrand. We got to rename the Sizzler to something that showcases the steak a little bit more than the sizzle. We got to
The
rebrand the
Steakler.
Sizzler to the Steakler. Yes,
Yeah.
the
Yes. Okay.
Steakler. Now there is $1 billion franchise easy. Who doesn't want to come on down to the Steakler? Hey there, come on down to the Steakler and have yourself some steakles. Uh, try our new steakles. Each steakle comes with a steakling. Steaklin. A steaklin's like a fixin'.
See, I really think you should start a restaurant chain.
Yeah.
I would go there regularly.
Oh, come on down to the Steakler. Come on down to the Steakler. If you can guess my accent, you get 50 quid off your next Dumboy.
Yeah. I
Have you ever
I
had a
I
Dumboy?
I don't think I have. No.
You are one, you dumb boy. I hate myself. Why are we doing this?
I
Why
don't
do we
know,
do
but
this? Why do I do this to myself? My roommate is like putting on a comedy show after this. I'm gonna go check out his comedy show. I just I don't know if comedy is. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. It was such a good show on Tuesday. Go back and listen to that and remember how good that was. That'll be better than listening to this. The
I don't know.
Steakler.
We still have 15 minutes left. We can turn this show around, I think.
Yeah. Hey Kevin, you ever hear the phrase blind justice?
Yes.
I think lately justice been taking some peak. I can't even say it right. Oh, I we might
Have
have
you
to
seen that
abandon the
new
note.
Knives Out movie yet?
No, I've never seen any of the Knives Outs. Knives Outs, Glass Onions. I haven't seen none of it.
See, I really enjoyed Glass Onion. Like, I think there's very few movies I would say this about. But if you were like, "Hey, Kevin, do you want to watch Glass Onion again for the 12th time?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure. I'll enjoy that every time I watch that." And there's so few movies I say that about.
Hmm.
And last night we just watched Wake Up Dead Man, which is the most recent one, with like Glenn Close and Mila Kunis and all the. And it was 2.5 hours long. And it was just like one rug pull after another of like, oh, here's the answer to the mystery, and then nope, no, it's not. And then at the very end, like I don't want to spoil this for anybody, but like at the very end is the most implausible s solution to a murder mystery I think I've ever seen in a movie. And like
Hmm.
the detective guy in there was acting all like, oh, I don't know how to solve this. I sure can't solve this case. And then it ends with, yep, I knew it the whole time, and you guys were stupid for not understanding this. And I don't think I've ever felt so ripped off by a movie premise before, that like promised so much and then delivered so little at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard this one. The mystery was kind of not as like central to the story. I don't know. It wasn't
Yeah.
as big of the movie.
Like Glass Onion, I could see like how you could have possibly figured the solution out if you were really attentive. And watching it again and again, even knowing that the answer doesn't ruin the movie for you. Where
Yeah.
here it's just like these 13 things that you did not see and had no way of knowing were all crucial to the plot line, and shame on you for not knowing this. I don't know. I felt ripped off by it, and I like most movies. Like I'm probably I would be the easiest movie critic like on the internet, I think. And I felt like wow, that was 2.5 hours of I could have skipped.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you thought of the new movie in the Reddit. You know, let Kevin know what you think, how you interpreted it,
To,
because you
yeah.
know
Tell me
maybe
how I'm
everybody
wrong.
likes it, or maybe that's the popular sentiment is that this one missed the mark. You know, I don't know. I've been playing Arc Raiders, Kevin. My friends have been playing Arc Raiders, and so I'm playing with them because I don't really do anything. I don't really have anything to do. I got to figure out something better to do. But Arc Raiders, I don't know. Because the thing is, I feel like this can describe Minecraft to an extent as well, but I don't know. In Arc Raiders, if the whole game feels really pointless. The premise is that it's like the future and humanity has been living like underground because there's these like robots that kill you if you come up, but people go up there to like scavenge for like parts and stuff. And so there's kind of like PvP, and then there's kind of like you're fighting the robots, which are like, you know, computer controlled enemies, but then also kind of like Fortnite, there's just a big map where you can find a lot of stuff and different players can be on it. So there's other players and those players can kill you and take your stuff. But it's not like who's the last person to win. You're just trying to get the stuff to bring back to the base, and then you can like upgrade your equipment and stuff with the stuff. But the thing is, like, because they need you to just not be unable to participate if you're completely destitute in the game. They let you play with what's called like a free kit, which like is not good, but you can technically like beat around with it. Um, but like because you can like do okay with the free kit, you can like play the game. It's just not very good. But then you get a couple guns, and then you get better. But the thing is, like, you're only trying to get the stuff to make your guns better, and you're only get making your guns better so you can survive in the levels so you can get more stuff. But like there's no reason to really do any of it because you can play the game without any stuff, but all you do in the game is get stuff and then try to survive so you can bring it back. But none of it matters because it only helps you get stuff better, but you don't need the stuff because the only reason you need it is to get more stuff. You know, so it's like I don't know. It's like why are we doing any of this? And it's like because it's fun, but the thing is it's not very fun to be playing a game and then people show up and kill you. And like because of that tension, there can be really interesting like elements and experiences that happens and it has, but like ultimately none of it matters except it just like you just are collecting stuff so that you know when you die you lose it, and it's like it just feels bad a lot of the time, and you're just always worried about losing your stuff, and it's like none of the stuff matters except you use it to like play, you know, so it's like why it just all feels so needlessly taxing. But there have been a lot of fun moments, you know, so it's like it's an interesting concept. It ends up feeling like like post-apocalypse where
So if you're listening to this podcast right now, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
oh
you off, but
no, oh no.
back up 3 minutes and listen to everything Spencer just said, except pretend this is an analogy for consumerism, and it all equally makes just as much sense. Anyway, keep going.
Well, that's the thing is it does feel very much like a metaphor for stuff. It's like this feels like everything, but I don't know. It shouldn't be so. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I feel like PvP is a part of the game, but it feels like so the game does not feel optimized for it, so it feels hard to like beware because you know you can take a few shot, you can survive like a rocket to the face almost, but you know you get a couple shots from like players and you just go down instantly, so like you can play the game for sure, but then you know you're just taken out because like I don't know, but I'm just not good at it, which is fine. It's all fine. It's not a bad game. I don't know. Speaking of games, there's the Game Awards. You know about the Game Awards?
I did, yeah. That what was the game that just like swept everything? The
Uh, Claire Obscure Expedition
yeah,
33.
yes.
Everybody loves it. It was a really popular game. People found it really crazy. It was a French JRPG made by a French team, and it was very French in its like flavor and world building and stuff. Um, did the Batman ever catch the Sizzler? Sebi writes. So I was watching the TGAs, the Game Awards, and I don't know. The Game Awards are weird. It's weird to be watching a thing that's like happening live. Like I never really watched Oscars or anything because I don't care about movies and the award shows. They're all fake. Like it's all made up. You know, it doesn't feel like it matters very much. Although I guess it does. I don't know. But so I never just really put that much stock into it. But the Game Awards are weird, Kevin, because they're almost more about the trailers and like advertisements than they are the awards. So sometimes they'll do a bunch of trailers and then they'll run off like three awards. They'll be like, and then in this thing we have this, and the winner is this, and then we have this, and the winner is this, then we have this, and they'll like name off like five or six things without anyone being visible. And then they'll go to another commercial, and it's like, wow, we really it's called the Game Awards, but you really run through the things to have just more advertisements. But that's also part of the fun because you see trailers and new announcements and reveals and stuff. They revealed a new Divinity game that's supposed to be bigger than Baldur's Gate 3, so that's exciting. Um, I don't know. They weren't that good. I felt like all the games felt like they looked like the same game somehow. It just like the kinds of stuff that you're doing, the flavor, like the quirkiness of it, the like the scope of the world building, it all felt very samey in a way that I was like, this is so weird. But it's like, yeah, I guess like AAA gaming is all converging into just one concept. But I don't know. It was interesting. They had a Street Fighter thing that was so weird. They had this guy Andrew Schultz, who's like I don't know, some sort of right wing guy. I don't know. He was there, and it just seemed like it was a joke. It seemed all really weird, but they just had a bunch of people show up, and like a number of them were like Trump supporter kind of actory types. They're just standing on stage, kind of like looking around, being like, "Yeah, this movie, we're in this movie, and it's gonna come out." Yeah, we're excited. We shot it. We shot the movie, and in like a year, in like over a year, it's gonna come out or something. And then they left, and it was like that was so strange. That was such a strange thing. They had Miss Piggy on, so like she was doing like a bit, and so Miss Piggy's on, it's a bit, and then all the people on Street Fighter, all the Street Fighters show up. And it's like, so okay, so is this a bit? Are they doing like a joke? Why is Andrew Schultz here? And it's like, no, it's not a bit. They're just kind of like saying like it's just half-assed, not well planned. And that's what's weird is it's like the sloppiest awards show that you'll see. So when things go weird, it's like, oh shit, like yeah, I forgot. Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's which is a pretty fun experience to watch for sure. So I liked watching it, but I don't know. There's definitely some games that seemed cool, but a lot of it is just nonsense and it makes me miserable. And I'm miserable. And so is the
Speaking
audience
of
listening to this. Speaking
speaking
of
of
what, Kevin?
weird game stuff, and I swear I don't mean this like this like incredibly bizarre like humble brag thing, but like for the last 6 weeks, I've had so many people like hunting me down and like emailing me and asking questions about this, what I thought was lost media of a version of Mortal Kombat that I had the tiniest involvement with back in the 90s that like was forgotten about. Like there was pretty much no trace of this game on the internet. I thought it was gone. But like over the last 6 weeks, I've had people emailing me. I had somebody track me down on Twitter. I've had people commenting on my YouTube videos asking me about it. And I could not a single one of them told me why that this like forgotten about game was suddenly in their consciousness anymore. And it wasn't until a couple of days ago that I finally discovered, I guess Atari 6 weeks ago released what was called the Mortal Kombat Complete
Yeah.
Collection.
Yeah.
And it's in that. And right when you start the game up, my initials are in the upper right corner because I was the last person to make a change to like when an arcade game boots up, it shows you like all the diagnostics and then like the version number and all of that. And what Midway
And it's
always
like
did was
signed.
whoever the last person was to touch the code, their initials show up as part of the
Right.
build number.
Yeah.
And there were like all these people asking me about it, but not a single one of them told me, hey, this got released. Like
Right. That's
Atari
such
never
weird
reached
lack
out
of
to me.
context. Yeah.
Nobody told me that this was out until like a week ago. And so like just literally this morning I went and downloaded it off Steam and I was like, yep, there it is. So that it's been a very confusing month and a half for me of no one explaining to me why this was suddenly being talked about.
Do you know what's notable about that version?
So this was Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet, which was this failed experiment Midway did in the 90s where you could play arcade games like in an arcade against somebody at a different arcade. It was like
That's a
almost
great
like
idea.
pre-internet multiplayer gaming. It didn't work very well. And the problem with fighting games like Mortal Kombat is there's always some cheesy move that you can't like an infinite combo that you can't stop someone from doing. And the problem basically was like if you were playing in the same room as somebody doing that to you, you would smack them and say, quit that, that's cheating. But when it's somebody across town from you doing it and you can't stop from getting matched with that same person over and over again, it just became really frustrating. So that
Yeah.
plus the fact that it needed this incredibly fast internet connection in the 90s when that was a rare thing killed the project. You know, like it got released to I think like 8 to 12 arcades before the plug got pulled on it. But like that was like the first bit of game programming I did professionally. And so like it always held a special place for me. And it was always kind of sad that like it almost just got like erased. Like there was no trace of it. Like I thought the code was lost. I never imagined anybody would ever play this ever again. And like now you can like go on Xbox or PlayStation or Steam or whatever and just download and play this. So that was
Yeah.
kind of cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds awesome. Yeah, the Get Played podcast covered the Mortal Kombat, I think. They talked about it. So I didn't hear about the WaveNet thing, but that's really interesting.
I mean, it's
Um,
basically Mortal Kombat 3 that like tries to connect to a gaming service and then shows you a bunch of error messages and then you play a mostly stock Mortal Kombat 3 just with a couple of extra secret characters added to it, which is I think why
mhm.
they probably added it more than anything, but
What
it's
were the
it's fun to
secret
see.
characters?
That was the first playable instance I think of Noob Saibot and Ermac, if I remember right.
Okay, yeah.
For the arcade version. The home versions had them later, but I think that was the first time it was playable in the arcades.
Yeah. I was so bad at all those games. I feel like there'd be a character like Ermac or something, and I'd be like, oh man, I just need to learn Ermac. And then I learn how to like shoot their projectile or something and be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like I feel like the combos were a lot more subtle, or not subtle, but like there it was not like it wasn't as free form. You can like mix up a lot of things. Like you really kind of had to go down their kind of like prescribed. But I guess all at a certain level, I think of fighting games, all combos are like that. Like you really got to use the most optimized ones. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And I felt like the biggest boomer too, because Ariel's like, oh, show me how to play. And not only did I like not have a controller here, we're at a hotel. So like I'm trying to on the keyboard figure out how the keys were mapped. And
Yeah, doing
also,
diagonals on a keyboard, you can't really do it.
right. And like this was, almost 30 years ago that I made this, and like I wasn't even the one who made the combos or anything like that. That was all part of like the pre-existing game base that we base this on. But like I couldn't remember any of this. So like I'm just like barely able to move around on the screen because I don't even know what the move buttons were in the keyboard. So yeah, it was a rough 5 minutes of me trying to remember how to play the game.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. Even single player is pretty hard. Like at least once you get like farther.
Yeah.
But
Like single player Mortal Kombat has always been hard because the computer like cheats and
yeah,
So you either have to like know the exploits to sort of like beat the computer's cheating with more cheating, or get lucky is really how you won single player Mortal Kombat most of the time.
That feels very true to me. Yeah. Man, I'm just sad. I'm really bummed. Uh, I have been smoking more weed, so if this is all the weed experiment, then it would definitely have been better for me to have quit. It's better, like I feel better with less weed in my system, but who knows if that's I mean, whatever, we'll figure it out. One of the cool things that happened in the Game Awards, Kevin, is they announced a new Mega Man game. I love Mega Man. Nothing looked interesting or exciting about the game. They barely released any interesting, pieces from it. But they did say that Mega Man has always had a contest where you can draw pictures of a robot and send it in, and they can design a guy based on it and put it in the game. Like they do that in almost all the games, the older ones at least. And so they announced that they're doing that for this new one, that's fun. But no reason to believe this will be like a good game. But it does seem like Capcom seems to be committing to try and making more Mega Man IP happen. So that's always exciting.
That I think really was such a good franchise that I feel like they didn't. I know there were a million Mega Man games. I don't mean it that there wasn't enough quantity, and I don't mean the quality was bad. I just wish they had done more with it. Like
Yeah,
it should have
definitely.
been a franchise that there just should have always been a new Mega Man to play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this guy, the Godfather of Mega Man. He wasn't like the inventor or anything, but he became kind of the shepherd. His name was Keiji Inafune, and he kind of ended up leading the franchise. He kind of got really obsessed with Zero, who was like a character that was added to the Mega Man X series, but wasn't Mega Man himself. He was kind of like a side character, but he became like a super plot important character in all the games, and he was like super powerful. And I don't know, he was kind of like overused in the games and stuff. But around X6 sold really poorly, and then X7 sold really poorly, and then X8. X7 was trying to be like venturing into 3D gameplay, and it was just a huge flop. Like this was not a team that knew how to design like 3D action games. The game was just a nightmare. X8 was kind of back to the old formula, but it was also like a huge fucking mess. And and then at the same time, the Legends games were coming out. That was also exploring like 3D adventure games. Those did bad. And then Mega Man Command Mission came out, which was exploring just like the turn-based RPG space. And that did bad too. So like they had like five different flops all trying to figure out Mega Man in a new post 2D platforming market, and nothing was really bearing fruit. And they're like, I guess we're just gonna kind of like cool it on Mega Man. And then they had Mega Man Zero, which was for mobile, and Mega Man Battle Network, which was for mobile, and those both did okay, but they were spin-offs. They were optimized for mobile, so they didn't really present a new pathway for a more mainline kind of Mega Man series. And then Inafune left, and they've never really, apparently, supposedly how Capcom works is each of their franchise has kind of like a shepherd or champion that kind of like is coming up with new ideas, and Mega Man just hasn't had like a person like that in Capcom's uh group that has like had ideas for new stuff. But it seems like maybe they had an investor meeting where one of their big investors, like a corporate investors, I think they're called like 3D Creations or something. They're like, look, man, you are not using Mega Man to generate enough money. Like that is money on the table. You're not making Mega Man shit. And they like had this whole presentation about how like I don't know. Maybe I might be mixing. No, I am mixing up. This is true, but I am actually mixing this up with that company, 3D Creations or whatever. They had a conference call with fucking Square Enix, and they had a similar thing. But this also happened about Mega Man with another investor. Um. Anyway, Pluribus, Kevin.
We've almost finished watching it. I
Yeah.
think we're on the last episode.
Yeah. It
This
just
is the
came out.
craziest show I think I've seen in a long time.
I told you it's like you watch like stuff happening. Like you watch processes. Like I was right. Like the show is so much that.
I love the fact that the show is willing to just let things hang for
Yeah.
like almost uncomfortable amounts of time. Like without giving away any spoilers, at one point she keeps calling this number and hears the same long recording. And you hear that same long recording 30 times throughout the series so far. And they don't at any point do what I think most directors would have done and found a reason to abbreviate that after a certain point because it it adds to the frustration that you know that the main character is feeling, in that situation. And it's just all these little touches that are just genius that I don't think I ever would have occurred to me.
Yeah, I also think it shows kind of like her stubbornness and her curmudgeonliness a little bit. Like I don't know because obviously it would be bad if the show did this, but I think in your mind as a viewer, you're like, she probably could say like, "Hey, make the message shorter, like record a shorter message."
Yes.
But like also that would kind of be capitulating a little bit, it would be like, whereas the way she does it is like, look, I'm playing your game. Like, I'm not mad almost, like you can't break me, because, yeah, because I'm obviously it's interesting because she's like, I kind of wanted to get into like more spoilers, but I probably shouldn't. But she's like towards the end of the where we're at, she's kind of like in timeout almost. It's not on purpose exactly, but it kind of is. I don't know. It's interesting. It just like I think the show is asking all these interesting questions about society and stuff, and also just like my big theory that I referenced this, that's what I was like wanting to talk about on the show is like my interpretation is it's like an examination of a lot of aspects of society, but because it's such this alien lens, like it bypasses a lot of filters about it. But like what 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 Carol goes through is like this mass change of society where she goes from having a comfortable position where she knows her place and has troubles, is maybe detached from it a little bit and is not perfectly happy, but she understands what's going on, and the world very quickly moves into this new thing that she's not a part of, she doesn't connect to, she doesn't understand, and it seems to her that this new change to society is dangerous and is going to lead to the extinction of the human race and is destroying society. You know, um, Kevin, it's literally a mind virus that she's like up against. And she's seeing this mind virus taking over, and she's realizing like this is really bad. And she's trying to figure it out. She's trying to come to answers, but she tries to connect to people. And because she's upset and off-putting, other people won't connect to her. They're like blaming her. They're like, you killed my dad or whatever. She can't connect to these normal people about like these problems that she's experiencing with society. And so she's going off the end. She's making YouTube videos, and she's going in on her own personal batshit investigations where she's finding shit and like presenting her findings like Ben Shapiro, and like I think like subtextually the text of the show, I think, you're on her side because she's not an alien, right? But subtextually, like you're seeing how someone could be left behind by society, be socially isolated, and in that space, after being affected by tragedy and being unable to deal with this change, they would eventually become violent and dangerous to society. They would be a terrorist. Like from the pluribus, I call it the pluribus. From the mind's perspective, she is like a terrorist. She killed millions of them, and they're like, we don't know what to do, but that's the problem we have in society. It's like, we don't know what to do. Should we explain to you that what you did is wrong? And if you keep taking intentional, willful action that causes harm, what do we do? I guess you have to go away from society. You need to be socially isolated for a while. It's like you're seeing, it's like, Oh, I mean, what should we do? What should we do when someone keeps messing up? Do we lock them up? Do we just go away from them? How far can we rehabilitate, if they just don't want to get along? But of course, it's like if they're aliens taking over, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to get along with you. But if they are seemingly peaceful, I don't know. It's interesting. Did it make you have any thoughts, interpretations, or anything? Obviously, people are drawing AI parallels.
Yeah, I don't know. I love how everyone's reaction to it seems to be, well, that's not what I would do there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And, but I think that's the interesting part is that, like, I think, you know, it seems like every person who watches it thinks there is a very obvious way that you should have reacted, like what Carol should be doing. But
Right.
every single person I've talked to has had a completely different idea of what that was. And I think that's a
Yeah.
really good lens to who the person is by seeing what they think she should be doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I don't know. I mean, I guess part of it is because I think the show is not interesting to think about if you just take it for face value, which is like, this is some kind of like weird peaceful alien invasion almost or whatever. Because it's like, well, yeah, we can't lose ourselves to aliens, it's so obvious. But if you kind of take that away and be like, well, what are we trying to explore? Is it like, is it better to be like connected or whatever? But online, a lot of people are like, they have these sharp, it's like, oh, we're losing our individuality, we're losing our humanity. And it's like, it's how you interpret what's happening, like, I think says a lot because I don't know what's happening, but that's change coloring my interpretation where I'm like open to a lot of things. I'm not deciding like something must happen. Where I was like arguing with my friend and he was like, but but if they're telling the truth, then why won't they pick the apple? And it's like, well, we don't know. I mean, they'd seem like they're a sci-fi genie that has to behave by sci-fi laws. So that could be a lie that they're telling, or it could just be like a magical rule that they have to abide by. It's this magic sci-fi concept. Surely they could abide by some magic sci-fi rules. So it's like, but if that's your interpretation that they're lying, that colors a lot of your things. But me, it's like, well, maybe they're lying, but we don't know. But like, and then they're like, you're losing your humanity and your individuality. But it's like, I don't know, they could have like a deliberative process where, in the space, imagine like instead of a neuron, you have a whole human being, but in the space of like a second or two, you can have like a whole like hours long deliberative process with all these people the same like we were talking about earlier, the same way you just have these thoughts bubbling up. Every thought is just like a guy in there, and now they come together and form a consensus. But that would, and then, people are talking about consent with that one character, and it's like, but we don't know that they don't want this. What if they only got the women who are interested in that guy, and everyone we see are like truly into this guy, and then, and like, if, and they're like, what if it's like they're doing stuff without their will, but like, what if in the deliberative process they're like, well, I don't want to do that, and they're like, okay, well, you can be the part of the hive mind that's over here then, and only the people that want to do this stuff will do that. There's all sorts of interpretations that are so charitable, but people seem to have like a really strong interpretation and then go like, but this is what's happening, and it's like, well, we very much don't know what's happening. That's the only thing that's really clear, and we very much don't have a perspective on like the internal thought process of the hive mind other than the things they have said. And the things they've said also reveal that they're learning what they are. They're like learning their thought process and their capacity as they're like going. um it's just really interesting. I realized that like, oh, they're gonna try and milk this for like 3 seasons at least, and then I was like, oh, they're not gonna like resolve anything, and I was like hoping to get like some sort of, it's like we're not gonna learn fucking anything until like next season at least, which sucks. That was really pissing me off. But it's a really cool show. I just like thinking. The thing is, I like thinking about all these questions that it's talking about, and then people are like, yeah, but it's just aliens and we got to kill them, and it's like, that's not interesting. That's so boring. But like
Yeah, yeah,
also,
no, it's
go ahead.
all of the obvious solutions would be such a boring story. And
Right.
I'm so glad that they're choosing to make these characters so flawed in so many ways, because it
Yeah,
just
that's what's
makes it
interesting.
so much more of an interesting story. But like even as just down on the world and difficult the main character is, she's still interesting.
Yeah,
And
she's
that's
cool.
that's hard to pull off.
and she's competent. We're seeing her be competent in a lot of ways. Like we're seeing her do stuff, and she's doing it in a way that is relatable and makes sense.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, also I don't know. It's interesting. Like to me, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like when Lisa gets is it when Lisa gets like the sea monkeys and becomes like the god of the sea monkeys? And also I think there's a Futurama. It kind of reminds me of that where like you have this hive mind that's like trying to like make Carol happy or do whatever she wants, to an extent. And she's like so miserable. And it's like we will literally do everything that you want. We just need like you to accept me. Like we're the God, we're the creator of everything. We could do anything. We could give you happiness and paradise and stuff. And then, but it's like, but you have to have free will for it to mean anything. So that means you have to be capable of rejection, but it kind of feels like it's like, if she's like a god or if they're like a god, like it kind of works both ways. I don't know. Um, it's just I like thinking about the show. I've been making TikToks about it, but whatever.
It's uncommon for me to keep thinking about a show as much as I have about this one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a show that's as good as I am hate myself. Does that make sense? I haven't eaten very
That's
much today.
sad, but yes.
It's sad but true. Or it's not. Who cares? We got emails, Kevin. We got emails to get through. Mikel writes. Mikel, depending on, yes. Longtime listener here. Your first episode came out 1 year after Denmark went into their big first COVID lockdown. This coincided with the end of a long-term relationship, which had me changing apartments. I played your podcast on live and drives to and from work and on forest walks. It was good company. I like the chemistry of you and Kevin talking about whatever. On the earlier episodes, Jeff dominated a lot of the talking, leaving you to most react. It's been nice to have him back lately. Let's see. He's telling me about his life. I'm from Denmark, approaching my 40s. I grew up in the forest in Denmark, non-academic parents. He went to Vancouver, Nepal, Berlin, California, Death Valley, Kevin. I wish I had a life like this. I mean, maybe I have in some ways. Let's see. Trying to get his life burnt him out, Kevin. He's had some hard living, it sounds like. He lived so hard, Kevin, his kidney failed after 17 years.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
Um well, the basic premise is he's had an interesting life and he wants to come on and tell a story or two. So maybe we got to do that. Get at Kevin in the Discord, Dr. Worm.
Yeah.
Oh, we called you Mickle. I fucked up. That's Mickle means worm in Denmarkish. Anyway, get us at us, Dr. Worm. They call me Dr. Worm. Remember, Kevin? I'm not a real doctor, but I am a real worm. I am an actual worm. Man, there's a new song that was in Ice Spice did a new song, a SpongeBob song for the SpongeBob movie. And the song, it's called Big Guy. And most of the song is Ice Spice going, SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. And so I got that song stuck in my head because it's just Ice Spice going, SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. And it's fun to say SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Anyway, Pringles Dick writes, hey, Spence and Kev. I'm catching up on the pod after many months of not being able to listen for shitty life reasons. I'm currently in the spring era and desperately want to tell past Spencer how much worse it gets. Sadly, that tech doesn't exist. I'm hoping by the time I catch up and you read this, things might be a little less horrific, but that hope is dim. On a slightly less depressing side note, I don't know if Kevin changed his audio settings or something, but it's not really nice to hear him laughing. Hey, there you go. Thanks, Pringles Dick.
I turned the noise cancellation off because I think it was just too much. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how much noise you had in the first place, you know?
Well, before I was on a different laptop, and I don't know if you guys know this, but
Right.
while we're doing the show, I'm typing suggestions for
He's
titles as
constantly
we're
typing.
going. And the first few episodes, I had to keep muting my microphone because it just kept sounding like a caveman was beating on my door the entire time. So I use this noise canceling thing, and then I've realized that like Zoom has gotten so much better at like shutting that off when you're typing now that I don't need it anymore. So yes, I
Hmm.
that's the change.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm sorry, Pringles Dick, that things got worse. Um, I want them to get better personally, if I had the option, but all right. Michael writes, Hi, Spencer. Just want to say thank you. I've always appreciated your honesty when life hits hard. When you talked about losing your cat and when you opened up about your breakup, it got to me how much courage it takes to be that vulnerable in front of an audience. It's also very inspirational and courageous to see for someone to see themselves critically and navigate difficult emotions without losing their sense of humor or humanity. I feel like I have lost my sense of humor. I am not writing to give advice or pretend I know what you're going through. I just wanted to say that your openness has probably helped a lot of people. I know you've helped mine. I hope you're taking care of yourself in whatever way feels right and that you're surrounded by people who support. No need to respond except I went to Los Angeles way back to go to this party and had a bunch of huge women, 6'5" and higher. I was the only person in mind to bring weed and donuts. I was south in Placentia. What is a great weed place and was Ferry's what's a great weed place? And was Fairy's Donuts the right donut place I chose? I don't know a great weed place. I wish I knew one. Most of the weed places I go don't feel that great. And I don't know anything about Fairy's Donuts. I don't really know about Placentia. But I'm gonna say you chose the right place, Michael. Right, Kevin?
I think so. I mean, I knowing nothing about any of that, it that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Um, well, do you have any more thoughts on Pluribus?
Well, before we get back to Pluribus, I know we kind of touched on this a few episodes back, but I would love it if somebody would email us. Maybe this could be a recurring thing where if somebody thinks, other than just like, I, I don't want to encourage the Harmontown kind of vibe of like, hey, if you just want to be on the show, jump up and we're going to put you on. But if you think there's something that either I could do or Spencer could do that would make your life better or help you solve a problem, or if you think there's some reason that either one of us or both of us could uniquely help you, I would be all over having listeners pop on and then us try to help them solve a problem or something.
Yeah, and especially if we can help you feel seen, Kevin. Remember, we got to help people
Yes,
feel
that was
seen.
that was that was what you said that gave
That
me this
triggered
idea
you.
kind of yes to
Kevin
think
got
about
fucking
this of like
triggered.
yeah, I did. Spencer
Yeah,
triggered me.
yeah, triggered
Um,
Kevin.
but I feel like you and I both have some unique skills that probably don't translate very well to real world helping people. But if you're sitting here listening to this thinking that one of the two of us or both of us could help you, I think you should email thathappenspod@gmail.com and convince Spencer to have us book you on here.
Yeah, what was that podcast? It was called Reply All, and then it split into it ended. Um, it ended. It was hosted by Alex Goldman, and then Alex Goldman went on to do another podcast that's pretty fun. What's it called? Hyperfixed. That sounds like what you're pitching, kind of, is hyperfixed. We
So
should
I
just
stole
do
this. Okay.
hyperfixed. Well,
Okay.
wait, maybe we can just help them.
We could be a podcast that helps other podcasts.
Yeah, I wanted to figure out how to be a podcast that's like about other podcasts. I don't know. This like I feel like this doesn't have it probably only has the staying power of like a YouTube video or something. But the idea is I would cut clips out of podcasts and add me to them as if I was in the podcast. And it would be because
Oh,
like I listen to podcasts and I listen to like a part and then I'm like, man, I have some thoughts on this subject. So it just me cutting myself having the thoughts on the subject into the podcast. And that would basically be, the whole bit is just me talking also about something. But you can't, that's not a whole, I don't know. Speaking of not a
I
whole
like the idea.
podcast,
And that lets us not have to come up with content because we're just stealing other podcasts then.
exactly. It's like mining Reddit, but we're mining a podcast. But speaking of not being a full podcast, we should end the podcast early, Kevin. I think I don't know. I'm feeling bad. I think next week will be better. I think it'll be better. Um, and then next week I think it'll be worse again.
Okay, between now and next week, what could I do to make things better in your life? Let's practice.
Well, sometimes things just have to proceed the way they do, Like I don't know. Like I think I'm processing some stuff and I got to work through it probably. Don't you think? Like I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. Um,
I don't know. It depends on what you feel like you need right now.
well, I need new headphones. I got this fucking look at this. Look, I look like a goddamn I don't even know what. Nothing good, I'll tell you that. Um, I look like a goddamn resent. Ugh, I don't want to do the show anymore, Kevin. This is so bad. This was so bad. I mean, high highs and low lows, you have to have these to get the episodes like last week, I guess, right?
I think so. I mean, you know, I don't know that you seem very focused on deciding if a podcast is good or bad. And I don't think that's what the spectrum is. I just think that some podcast episodes have a different feel than others, and that some people are going to find those the best, and others are going to find others the best.
Yeah, I don't know. I just need validation. That's the problem. That's the problem with the podcast is I need validation and the podcast doesn't give it to me. And it should. And people say nice things, and you'd think that would translate into validation for me, but it doesn't. I don't know. I need to cultivate my sense of safety, Kevin. I need to be better at feeling safe. I think that's something that I haven't had a lot in my life. Um, and I think I've had a couple, what do you call it? A couple glimpses. I don't know. I don't know. Let's leave. Let's end the show. You have any final thoughts, Kevin?
No, I really genuinely hope you are in a better place next week, though.
I'm fine. It's just the show is bad, and sometimes the show's bad, and I just want it to be good. I just want to be good at something. And this is what I'm doing. This is basically all I'm doing. So I might as well be good at it. Otherwise, I'm just bad, I guess, right? Um,
Sure.
yeah, but we like to end the show, and we are.